All right, so Bitcoin has SFP'd the high of this more local range. We got some bearish divergences, and we got a bit of a move to the downside from here. And if you watched my video that I posted a few days ago, you know that I talked about the possibility of this exact scenario. I think if we get a very quick wick up above this yellow range high and then immediately start reversing, we might not see money flow move up anymore. So it may diverge, momentum may diverge, and maybe that is what ends up causing us to front run all-time high yet again. And we did in fact get some daily bearish divs as we just barely SFP that high. It was a very shallow SFP, but we still took out the high, and we actually did form the divergences that I was looking at. We actually did get money flow divs along with the momentum divs, and we also had the local divergences on the midterm timeframes to go along with it. We saw local divs along with the regional ones, and even some money flow divs on the 2 hour and I think the 1 hour as well. So yeah, there were lots of confirmations for this high. Unfortunately, I did not take the short. I was not awake for this. This happened on Friday, like literally at 8 a.m., which is typically a little before I wake up. So that is a bit unfortunate. Because if I saw all those divs and I saw a reaction away from there, it seems like we got a very quick reaction. I don't know if we went to the upside or downside first. At least it's hard to tell in the 1 hour, but we did go to the upside first, so it was a very aggressive reaction away from here. I probably would have just entered that off of the reaction following the SFP. But yeah, unfortunately, I missed the short. So where are we at now? I was talking about, the possibility of this being a reason that we end up front running all-time high, and maybe we actually end up reversing from here. And I still think that's possible. We do have some pretty nasty looking bear divs on the daily time frame just from this little SFP of this range. But the way I'm looking at this right now is we are still ranging. We're still within this range. I think if we start losing this range, definitely falling below point of control, and then if we start closing below this range, that's not really a good look. The value area low is right below us, so maybe we just end up rotating from value area high to value area low before trying to rotate back up again. But mostly I'm looking at the context of this range. So, as long as we don't lose this low, then maybe this divergence only causes us to rotate locally, and maybe we still have a shot at getting a move up to take out this high. And we can look through Market Cipher on some of the mid or lower term timeframes and see how things are developing. See if they're maybe pointing towards us continuing to the downside, maybe even breaking out of the range to the downside, or may we possibly be approaching a bottom point. Maybe we only end up rotating down towards the value area low of this local range, which we actually already hit. And, I think there is some confluence with taking out this low. If we do end up getting another move to the downside, there's a chance that, we may be approaching a bottom point here soon, even if we do get another move back to the downside. Because we are starting to see, momentum possibly bottoming out on the 4 hour. I don't like the outward VWAP curvature here. That, is kind of leaning me to think that we might get another move down to take out this low at some point. But overall, momentum has gotten a move to the downside. It's below the 0 line. Money flow on the 4 hour is still generally looking healthy. You could see this maybe starting to top out, and if we end up breaking the range to the downside, this money flow would probably start to trend down, and that could lead you to think that we may see a bigger retracement. But overall, it looks like there's a chance that momentum is approaching a bottom point here, even if we do see another move to the downside. Maybe this outward VWAP just causes like a red dot green dot scenario here where momentum gets another little move to the downside. 3 hour looks very similar. We already printed a green dot here, and money flow is locally moving to the upside. This outward curvature still kind of makes me think that ultimately this VWAP may end up crossing back over. We may see like a red dot print at some point, and possibly that could even lead to some divergences on the 3 hour. It'd be cutting it close. I would probably be looking more towards the lower time frames for potential divs if we come back down towards the low. Like on the 2 hour, it's already looking more likely. But we are also seeing money flow start to take a turn to the downside on the 2 hour. And on the 1 hour, I'd say, number one, we definitely have div potential if we get another move to the downside. Momentum has gotten a pretty significant move to the upside from this low. And money flow, I'd say there's a little bit of hope here. You are starting to see money flow, at least locally, try and put in some higher highs. It is starting to get a little push to the upside. But you could argue that we have an overall direction to the downside right now, maybe even just getting another move to the upside to put in another lower high in terms of this overall curvature, and this may continue to the downside. But the reason that I'm looking for potential bullish setups if we come back down to take out this low is because if you zoom out and you pull up the fixed range of the larger range starting from all-time high, then you can see we just front ran the point of control. So we could potentially just SFP this low into the POC, something like that, get some bullish divs on some lower time frames, and maybe that causes us to try and rotate back to the upside of this local range. So that is the reason why I'm looking for signs that we may be approaching a bottom here soon. And I think I am seeing it with a potential trigger wave of sorts, you could say, on the 4 hour. Right now it is potentially printing a higher low. So we may be seeing momentum bottom out here, and we are seeing div potential on the lower term time frames. But of course, I am keeping in mind that on the daily time frame, things definitely look bearish here with the bearish div, and with money flow now crossing back into the red after getting a money flow div as well. A very slight one, but it is still a money flow div. So what if this local idea doesn't work? What if we don't end up holding the point of control as support and we start falling below it? Well, at that point, I would be looking at the range low. I think this is a very important point. Maybe we just, SFP the range low like we did with the high. Maybe we see some bullish divs form here, and that could cause another rotation in this range. And I was watching Flopping Groper's stream last night, and I saw him talk about the May anchor. And, it's interesting, but I already had that anchor pulled up, actually, because the May anchor is also the anchor from this low. So I just thought it was a funny coincidence that we had the same anchor pulled, but for different reasons. Just because we ended up putting in this significant low on the 1st of May. So you can see that this anchor, this green one, if I hide all the other ones, it is aligning with the range low. And actually, these other anchors are as well. The bearish ones that I was looking at from these highs are now also aligning with the range low. And now we got this bullish anchor with a bit of confluence around that low. So if we lose the point of control, then the next area of support I would look towards is this range low with this anchored VWAP confluence. And again, I think if we start losing this, then that does open the door to potentially a larger retracement, maybe even coming all the way back down to the larger range low. But there is always a chance that we just put in a higher low somewhere random, like maybe right below the value area low, and then start rotating back to the upside. We are in a range. And we have seen, front runs on a lot of significant points in this range. So, maybe we don't come back to this low. Maybe we don't even hit these lows. Maybe we just continue rotating in the value area of the range. I'm looking at that as a possibility too, but I do think that it wouldn't really be a good look to start losing these anchored VWAPs and this range low. Unless we can very quickly get back above them and hold them as support again. And I think in terms of, immediate supports that I'm watching, that really does it. It's really just these two spots. And given the, bearishness on the daily, at least that we're seeing right now, if this low ends up being a significant low and we don't really, come back down to get any kind of long setup, if, this 4 hour just bottoms out and we start rotating to the upside from here, I think I am actually interested in some potential shorts around the high of the range. Maybe looking to that point of control. I think that was to the upside of the range. So yeah, you could look at the point of control or the value area high. Maybe there is some confluence with some fib pulls. And, point of control is coming in between the golden pocket 786. So maybe that is an area that I'll keep my eyes on. And of course, if we end up rotating back up to the range high again, maybe we just end up SFPing it again with even more bearish divs. If we really work our way up there now, then we could definitely see some more bearish divs if, we just get a straight shot up back to the high. So, why not consider that idea? And that's pretty much all I'm watching. I'm focusing on this range right now, and until we break it one way or another, this is what I'm going to be watching. I think as long as we're trading within this range, then we still have a pretty good shot at taking out all-time high at some point. Just because we got some bearish divs locally here, even on the daily time frame, even though that is a significant time frame, doesn't mean we can't just continue ranging here before maybe getting another shot up to the high and getting even more significant bearish divs on the weekly time frame. But there's no point in looking at anything outside of this range until we lose it one way or another. Alright, well that does it for this video. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, and leaving a comment. I appreciate the support, and I'll see you all in the next video.